Welcome to Courageously Go, where we will venture into places we've been afraid to go. Women of the world, we are going to start a movement towards courage. Hello, everybody. I am Debbie DePietro, your host of Courageously Go, and I welcome all of you. This is the show where we are facilitating a global conversation about courage. We are doing this because I believe that when we live from our hearts by choosing courage, the life of our dreams and a better world for all are possible. No matter our age or circumstances, we never, ever, and I mean never, ever need to feel stuck or alone. Our essential truths are as follows. I choose courage. I use my voice. I embrace the new. I welcome challenge. I continue to grow. I am a woman of action. I courageously go. If any of those statements resonate with you, then you are most certainly in a good place, and I'm glad that you all are here with us. And this has just been so much fun. We're on our second year here with this show, and we're just having such a variety and interesting guests. I stress that this is becoming more and more a global conversation about courage, and today's guest is definitely a testament to that. I'm going to go ahead and introduce her now. Her name is Toni Lontis. And Toni, she lives on a small acreage property in the hinterland adjacent to the pristine beaches of Queensland's Gold Coast, Australia. She lives with her husband and an assortment of dogs, goats, llamas, ducks, and chickens. Her creative writing journey did not commence until 2018 with her first book, Resilience, a memoir that details her struggle with depression, anxiety, and trauma in her life and how she overcomes this to lead a healthy, happy, and fulfilling life. She is currently working on her second book, Whole Again, which details the strategies she used to heal her mind and body and create happiness in her life. When she's not writing, you can find her talking to her beloved goats, laughing with her husband, or enjoying time with her wee grandson. An avid gardener and small farm hobbyist, she wants to one day write a book on the joys of owning goats and small-scale hobby farm self-sustainability. Toni Lontis, welcome to Courageously Go.
Thank you, Debbie. It's wonderful to be here.
I'm so excited to have you. I think you're the furthest I've had. Recently we had a young lady from India, so that was pretty far away, but this is just so exciting to more and more, have people from around the world join us here because I really, one of my primary reasons for doing this show is that I believe the world really isn't as big of a place as we think it is.
Definitely not.
Right? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely, it's definitely not. And I'm really excited that you haven't had an Australian on your show before.
No, we've had, we had a couple of ladies really early on from, they're called the English Sisters, and they're originally from England, but they're based out of Rome, Italy. So we've had Europe, no Australia. So I'm super excited. So I'm in Florida. We are burning up. This is like, in our 90s, and we're living in our air-conditioned homes, and you are in Australia. So tell us a little bit, because I know we have listeners from around the world, but I know I have a lot of people like myself here in America. I've never been to Australia. So
wow. Can I tell you that I actually do a worldwide internet radio show called Radio Toni, and my radio technician is in Florida. So I've actually never been to Florida, but I'm gaining lots of friends from Florida, and I'm thinking I might have to visit.
Oh my goodness, yes.
And when we booked this podcast, I didn't have Radio Toni, so I haven't sort of mentioned that at all. It was mainly to talk about the book, and the book has led to Radio Toni. So just a bit of trivia for you, Deb.
Oh, that's fun. Now, is this your first venture into broadcasting? And
yes.
Isn't it fun? It's fun, right?
Absolutely. It's the best fun. Being able to talk to amazing people and give them voice to their story, or highlight struggle, or show people how to live courageously is just, you would know. It's wonderful.
It really is. It's a great medium because I feel like, and I can be a little bit of an introverted person. So if I were on TV in
Yeah,
front of a camera, it might not be the same experience for me at least. But right now, like I feel like you could be here in my living room having that cup of tea with me and my cats, Sammy and Winston, and we're just having a conversation. There's this level of intimacy. I feel like you're just right here with
I
me, even though you're
agree.
around the
It's
other side of the globe, literally.
I know. My listeners on the radio show tell me the same thing, and it's just wonderful. It's wonderful in this to live in this age of technology where we can talk to each other as if we're in each other's lounge room having a chat. It's wonderful.
I know. We're so blessed. So that's the good things about our today's technology. So,
Yes.
well, where to begin? Because I think I have a feeling I could spend hours with you. So where would you like to begin? What are you excited about these
Well,
days?
okay, so I guess to tell your listeners a little bit about my journey. So I have had, I guess, what people would describe as a challenging life. I was born with a facial defect, a congenital birth defect, and it resulted in left-sided paralysis of my face. So that was one of the first challenges. Childhood wasn't so easy, and some of the things that happened in my childhood just set patterns in my behaviour, and I didn't make good decisions in my 20s and into my 30s. And by the time I got to 40, I had my first nervous breakdown. I'd suffered a lifelong history of depression and anxiety, and I was traumatized. And it brought me to my knees. And so I spent the next 10 years effectively healing myself and working through that trauma. And before that time, my daughter disclosed a history of sexual abuse from the man I was about to marry in 2 weeks' time. So there was a lot of trauma around that incident and around getting her healthy, happy, whole and healed, and the judicial system. So into my 40s, I was pretty broken. And so the book, my memoir, Resilience, is the story of all those things that happened, how they happened, why they happened, and how I went about healing myself and helping my daughter and healing my family. And I published Resilience this year only in January, and have been embarking on a whole new life, I guess you could say. So promoting the book and learning how to do that, even how to do the marketing, launching my own radio show and learning about radio media, and talking to lots of people like you, Deb, about what it takes to live courageously. And for me, I now know that my core values are courage, vulnerability, strength, and integrity. And I want to use those things that are my core values to show people across the world what it is to rise above that trauma and live a resilient life and inspire people, empower people, and hopefully lead people towards healing, happiness, and wholeness. So kind of that's me in a nutshell.
Well, you certainly have a lot of it. You experience a lot of adversity in your life, So, what are
Yeah.
some things that have really helped you? And then you've had a lot of things to deal with. So, what I know that if we get your book, well, I'm sure you share
Yeah.
a lot of your strategies and experiences on. But how do those of us who, I mean, what you experienced with your congenital facial
Yes.
defect, or just
So
mm-hmm.
I think for anyone who so that feeling, I never felt like I belonged. I never wanted to look in the mirror. I never thought I was pretty, smart, intelligent, any of those things. So anyone with any sort of physical or in particular facial deformity, it impacts your self-esteem. And of course, you would know, Deb, from talking to any of your guests on the show that to overcome those things, you have to be courageous.
Yeah.
You have to say that you're going to be the best version of yourself that you can be. So for me, I still struggle looking in the mirror. So I still look in the mirror, and even though my self-talk is better, I still look in the mirror and think, oh, I don't like that crooked smile. However, I quickly correct that with, you have a beautiful smile. It is unique, and it's the only one in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the only Toni in the world with a crooked smile who is courageous enough to have her own radio show and write her own book. And if I can do it, and if I can get up and stand in front of people in showing people how imperfect I am, that's got to encourage other people to rise above adversity and live their best life.
Well, there you go. And that is so powerful, isn't it? I was just speaking with my last guest about this very thing, how powerful words are and what we tell ourselves, that self-talk. And, it's hard enough if you're a sensitive person, like a lot of us women are, what
Yes.
we worry about what others think about us and what's so-and-so thinking, what they're saying and what people say to us. But I think it's, it's really what we tell ourselves, like you just shared with us, right?
Deb, that's one of the keys, and it has and is one of the keys for me, is to change that level of self-talk. So if you wouldn't speak to another person the way that you talk to yourself, then you have to change the way that you talk to yourself. I had to learn about self-love. I had to learn how to be empathetic and sympathetic to myself, because I am, and I was, my toughest critic. No one else sees me in the bad light that I used to see myself. So, and the way that I changed that was to start talking to myself in a nicer way, start being nicer to myself. And I still struggle with that. I still struggle with the self-talk.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's definitely, I'm certainly, I will say I'm better now at age 52 than I was when I was younger.
Yes.
But I'm with you.
We're the same age.
Are we really? When's your birthday?
We are. In April.
Okay, I'll be 53 in September. So, well, that's neat.
We're 67 vintage. That's pretty cool.
But it's an ongoing challenge for me, and I'm someone, I have a podcast now, like you. I have a published book, and I've done, I have a few degrees. I have a law degree. I've got different college degrees, and I'm a mommy, and I, and I've done all kinds of things in my life, and I'm think I'm doing good work here, but I still, the achiever, or maybe it's I don't know what it is, but I still want to downplay, I still sometimes feel like a failure. Sometimes I still feel like I'm not succeeding in life. And my husband and my daughter are like, Mom, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. I know from speaking to so many women that we do have those issues around what we look like, what weight we carry, what we do, how we present. And you really have to be strong with yourself, and you really have to be determined and dedicated to changing the way that you feel about yourself, because again, there's only one Deb in this world. There's only one Toni. And if I don't show up as the best Toni that there can be, then I'm not setting a good example for my kids, my grandchildren, or anyone else who might be listening. So it's up to me to show the way, isn't it? If we have a platform, then we should use it. And for so many of the men and women out there that are listening, again, that getting that self-talk